Omkaram bindu samyuktam nityam dhyayanti yoginah madam mokshadam chaiva Omkaraya namo namah Omkaraya namo namah Omkaraya namo namah Namo namah Namo namah Karmasyevaadhikaraste Afaleshu kadachana Karma phalaheturvhu Te sangostva karmani Mate sangostva karmani Te sangostva karmani Karmanyevadhikaraste Afaleshu kadachana Karma phalaheturvhu Mate sangostva karmani Te sangostva karmani Mate sangostva karmani Shivoham Oham Shiva Shivoham Shivoham नित्योऽहं शुद्धोऽहं मुक्तोऽहं नित्योऽहं शुद्धोऽहं बुद्धोऽहं मुक्तोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवा स्वरूपो आद्वैतमानन्द रूपम् अरूपम् अद्वैतमानन्द रूपम् अरूपम् ब्रह्मोऽहं ब्रह्मोऽहं ब्रह्मा स्वरूपो ब्रह्मोऽहं ब्रह्मोऽहं ब्रह्मा स्वरूपो चिदोऽहं चिदोऽहं सदा शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवा स्वरूपो शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवा स्वरूपो शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवा स्वरूपो तेरे चरणों में तेरे चरणों में कोटि गुरु माता पिता गुरु बंधु तेरे चरणों में कोटि तुम्ही भक्ति हो तुम्ही शक्ति हो तुम्ही मुक्ति हो मेरे सोम शिवा मुक्ति मेरे सोम गुरु माता पिता गुरु बंधु सखा चरणों में कोटि तुम्ही प्रेरणा साधना तुम्ही प्रेरणा तुम्ही साधना आराधना मेरे सोम आराधना मेरे सोम गुरु बंधु सखा तेरे चरणों में कोटि तुम्ही प्रेम हो करुणा हो तुम्ही प्रेम हो तुम्ही करुणा हो प्रेम हो तुम्ही करुणा हो मोक्ष सो ही मोक्ष रे सो माता पिता गुरु बंधु सखा चरणों में कोटि तेरे चरणों में कोटि प्रियतम तुम्हें नाथ तुम्हें नाम चरणों में स्वामी कोटि प्रणाम। तेरे चरणों में स्वामी प्रणाम।
Namaste everyone. Welcome to Satsang today.
Okay, it's working now. So I was asking everyone if they were enjoying the Ashtavakra Gita yesterday, and I was just going to say that maybe I don't say this often enough, but a big thank you to Amaya. I noticed this morning that already all the verses that we had done have been transcribed and put on Facebook. Wonderful, my dear. Thank you so much. So we're really looking at this beautiful scripture, and we're finding that there is a very direct correlation spoken in satsang in a very condensed form, and sometimes because it is so condensed it can seem like it is obvious this already. That's why we are relaxing through the verses, taking our time, going over every word, because every word has so much meaning in these beautiful scriptures. And we are finding that this is what has been spoken about in satsang. And it's a beautiful way to actually have a framework around what has been shared here. Because verses we are finding that it is familiar not just in the content, but also familiar in terms of the voice which is speaking. It seems like it is the same voice that is using this mouth now to speak. The voice of the Sadguru, which is your own holy presence. So as much attention as we feel is possible to give, and it's very beautiful because in the Ashtavakra Gita it is just upon hearing the chapter 1 that Janaka came to the recognition of his real self. Just the few verses were enough to allow him to let go of his personal identity And the same is possible for us right here, right now. So let's continue where we left off. So we were reading chapter 1, Instruction on Self-Realization. And I'll quickly go through all the verses that we've already read. So it starts with Janaka saying, Master, how is knowledge to be achieved, detachment acquired, and liberation attained? Already very beautiful, isn't it? Because and this is the encapsulation of self-realization, what it actually means. Recognition, but the dropping of the conditioning as well, the detachment. This is clear for most of us. Then Ashtavakra says, to be free, shun the experiences of the senses like poison, turn your attention to forgiveness, sincerity, kindness, simplicity, truth, insert most likely later on. Yeah. It's very beautiful also to for someone who is new to satsang and they're wondering, okay, all this is fine, but what do I do? If this question is still bothering us, then we can focus a bit on this paragraph. My feeling is not to focus on this one too much because it just feels like this was inserted later. It does not feel like it belongs in this text. So then Ashtavakra says, water, fire or air, nor are you empty space. Liberation is to know yourself as awareness alone, the witness of these. We discussed this yesterday and we found that the mind can have this tendency when we say that we are not material in any way, then there's a sense of space. So I must be like this space, like dark space or white light or something like this. But even that we are not. Who witnesses even this? You see, that is the question which the sage is asking. And he's also answering, saying liberation is to know yourself as awareness alone. Again, a very important point that we discussed yesterday, to know yourself as awareness alone. You see, not as a discovery outside of me. Because many times in satsang, this can happen that we feel like, oh, awareness is there, but what about me still? But I am this awareness. Even I am. You see, so that's why this is a very important verse. So this was 1.3. 1.4 is abide in awareness with no illusion of person. You will be instantly free and at peace. Very beautiful. You see, just in 3 lines. Abide in awareness. Abide in awareness. Nothing actually. But the sage tells us that all that is needed is don't have this illusion that you are a person. So don't have this illusion that you're a person and effort. So to abide in awareness is not something that we have to do. It is our natural, most natural state. Even before the sense of being comes, that I am, even before that we are aware. Yeah? So to abide in awareness means to have no illusion of personhood. And you will be instantly free and at peace. You see, so just for a minute we'll look at this. Is it possible like this? You see, completely. Because we are free now. You see, we are free. Right now we are free. Happens now. You see? And the dropping of the conditioning is also now. Going to happen in the future. The dropping of the conditioning only means that we are surrendered in this moment. We are not picking up a concept about how this life should be, what should happen next. We are not picking up our next thought. You see? So freedom must be now. It is not something to be attained in the future. Then he says, you have no caste or duties. You are invisible, unattached, formless. You are the witness of all things. Be happy. So, since it was written many years ago, then we know that the caste system was prevalent in India at that time. It seems politically incorrect this that talking about caste, but we are just looking at this from a higher perspective, which is to see that when the illusion of personhood is not there, then the attributes which can be attached to this so-called person also drop. You see, the person drop. It's important that he says or duties. You see? So not only are the attributes dropping, but also the sense of doership dissolves. So duties must be to that idea that we had about ourselves, that I have to do something. You see, now these duties also drop. So the way to look at this is to see that no attributes and no doership can then remain. You see, because he goes on to explain that you are invisible, unattached, formless. You see? You are the witness of all things. Be happy. You are invisible, unattached, formless. You are the witness of all things. Be happy. So first is the dissolution of personhood, no personal attributes, or and what remains then without attributes. It's just this what he says invisible actually means without any attributes. You see? Unattached, that which are without attributes, this awareness cannot attach to something in reality. You see, so all our attachments were about this idea of the person, never truly about that which we are. Right? So that we discussed yesterday that what we say about attachment is to call something in this realm mine. Right? And the mine implies that there is a me that owns something, but we are then not talking about the truth of what we are. We're talking about the imagined one. You are invisible, unattached, and formless. Now, for the seeker, he might enjoy the sound of these words, but actually, if he was to try and find what is invisible, unattached, and formless, it is very frustrating. You see, how will you discover that? If this is about discovery, how are we to find that unattached and formless? How do we start even looking for it? Where do we go? You see? This is the whole. When the seeker shows his frustration eventually in satsang, saying, "What am I doing here? I'm not really getting anything." You see, I've been coming here, and initially some joy and peace was there, but even that is gone. You see, this happens in satsang, isn't it? I've been coming for so many months, and it was nice. Just feel like it's a waste of time. I'm not finding anything at all. Even that I knew, I have forgotten now. I can't even speak knowledgeably about anything. You see, so in this, that frustration is encapsulated because what is the discovery? We are not discovering anything phenomenally tangible. Discovering this invisible, unattached, and formless. But is the frustration warranted? Because we know this already. It is only our mind which cannot fathom this. You see? So when we go back, we contemplate, we look at these things, and I've given you the tools for it. That's why I ask you, are you aware now? Is your finding of this awareness, something that is visible? Does it have a form? Is it attached? Even to say that of something, we see that this content, that which we are aware of, keeps changing. But this aware, to be able to say I am aware of it, means I am already aware that there is this awareness here. Very slowly, it is not confusing, only the mind wants to fight this in a big way. I'm only simply saying that you are aware of something, you must first be aware of awareness. Otherwise, how would you say I'm aware of it? You see? Just like to be able to say, I am smelling this, I am seeing this, I am hearing this, we must first be aware what smelling is, hearing is, seeing is. In the same way, to say I am aware of something, just know what aware is. See? And this doesn't have any attributes. It's invisible in that way and formless. So then what happens is, yes, awareness is here. See? But even in this statement, awareness is here, there is a tendency for the mind to create some distance between awareness and what this me is. Yes, yes, I know awareness is here. That's why I've given you another tool, which is who is aware of this awareness. Use this one. Who is aware of this awareness? And for those of you who are open enough, you will find that this is the recognition of the self. I is this awareness. I'm finding that I am formless, I am unattached, and I am not a physical object in this realm with attributes. Invisible. So this is the recognition of the no thing, the unborn, the eternal that we speak about. Who is aware of the awareness? I. Is this I distinct from awareness? No, there I find no separation. There is nowhere where I is, but awareness is not. Or awareness is, but I am not. And also then the sage has given us a way to find this also. He says, you are the witness of all things. But before we come to the be happy part, this phrase is very important. You see, he says all things. You see, very important. He doesn't say something, you're the witness of things. You see, he said all things. That means only that which is witnessed exists. You see? Is it too far to go? But even physics is coming to these conclusions, isn't it? Nothing exists without the observer. So that means that this is our dream. Because if I am the witness of all things, that means only that which I am the witness of exists. Just like in a dream, if I get a newspaper from America, so the newspaper exists, but does the America exist? See? Just like this waking state is just like the dream state. That which exists in our attention, that exists. Because he says, you are the witness of all things. It's a very direct statement. See? Don't allow the mind to misinterpret it. It's very, very direct. Needs no disclaimers from it. You are the witness of all things. You see? And very often in satsang we have said that the universe is that which you are aware of. Then he says, be happy. You see? And this seems to be like at a different level from where we were speaking just now. So I feel this is also very beautiful because the sage is saying that once we know this, you see, is there any reason to be unhappy? In fact, this must be cause for celebration, isn't it? That I am no thing, you see? That I am that which cannot be hurt, that which is formless and unattached, that has no attributes. And yet I witness play of this realm. Okay. So much fearlessness, so much cause for. You see? So the sage Janaka was sitting with a sulky seeker face. Yeah. He says, as you know this, good to have, be happy. Person, you see, many times we talk like this. You say, just this, you are not a person. You see, you are not a person, you are not a thing. You see? You are not even consciousness. You are that which is aware even of consciousness. You see? That in which God takes birth and God goes back to sleep. What must you be? How is it possible for us to suffer now? Therefore he says, be happy. Let me just quickly check if there's something on the chat. Verse 1.6, chapter 1, verse 6 is right and wrong, pleasure and pain exist in the mind only. They are not your concern. You neither do nor enjoy. You are free. So he says right and wrong, which is just the realm of interpretation, judgment. You see, pleasure and pain. You see? This might be a little different from the definitions we use in satsang. I like to say that the mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts and similar energies like imagination, memory. Sometimes we say that let's include all the other perceived sensations like emotion, pain. Let's also for a moment include that in the definition of the mind. So the sage is using the broader definition. So he's saying all of these thoughts, all of these sensations, all the pain, all the pleasure, let's look at that as the mind. The witness of the mind. You see, you are apart from this. These do not touch you. Although they happen within you, they only exist, as we saw earlier, in our play. You see, only that which we are aware of, only that which has our attention, only that which is perceived seems to exist in this realm of Maya. So the sage says all of this interpretation and also the sensations, either through our sense objects or seemingly felt internally, let's see that that is not original to us. It is in the realm of the mind. They are not your concern. So let's look at this your now. Your concern. He is speaking to us directly as awareness itself, this awareness is unconcerned. Often in satsang we use the term unconcerned. You see? So this awareness is unconcerned with this play of itself called consciousness. Then he says, you neither do nor enjoy. You see? So this is directly again pointing to what we speak in satsang, which is Tvam karta, tvam bhokta. You are the doer and you are the experiencer. You see? What is this? This is a prayer to consciousness. You see? But usually the prayer is made from the perspective of a person. That I am nothing, O Lord, you are the doer and you are the experiencer. You see? So when he says enjoy here, he's talking about experiencing. You see? You neither do nor enjoy. You see? But here, he's not referring to the you as a person. He's saying you are this awareness. You see? So an aspect of you, which is consciousness is doing and it is enjoying. You are witnessing, unconcerned with the movement of doing and experiencing. You see? So from the perspective of the person, this is called surrender. You, O Lord, or consciousness, are the doer and you are the experiencer. You see? And from the perspective of awareness also, you are not the doer or the experiencer, although consciousness is also your own aspect, an aspect of you. You see? So because you neither do nor enjoy, the sage says you are free. You see? So in the fallacy of doership and the fallacy that I am the experiencer of this life, mostly I am the victim of this life. Also another very strong leg of the ego. Oh, I am so good to me. Yeah? Look at what has happened to my life. Yeah? Victimhood is a very popular ego belief. So when this fallacy of doership and being the experiencer of what is happening, the sufferer would be a better term of this life, and to see that I am the primal witness of this entire play, then even to say you are free is actually underselling it, because you can never be bound. Okay? And this one, which is formless, invisible, unattached, is neither the doer nor the experiencer. It is impossible to find any attributes of it to even bind, you see. How would it be bound? And it is talking about you. You are free. You are free. Everything.
Father, can I ask you a question?
Yes, yeah.
When you were talking about how we don't that doesn't make sense to me, because
Your voice is breaking in the middle.
Okay.
Which part doesn't make sense?
About
Can you
the
repeat that phrase?
enjoying, where the sage says,
Yes.
okay, it's something else enjoys. My experience is not involved, or I'm not attached to the identity. I really do enjoy. It's only when the identity is entrenched and here and operating, and then the suffering happens.
Yes.
So far in my experience, it's either suffering because identity is here,
Yes.
because identity isn't here.
Yes. Yes. Yes, idea. So let's look at this a little deeper. So when the sage says you neither do nor enjoy, he's speaking more broadly. He's saying that you neither do, you're neither the doer, nor are you the experiencer. You see? Enjoy means to enjoy the working of this realm, the experience of this realm. So it's in a broader sense. But we look at that particular aspect of your question also. But just to make this clear once again, for whom is it possible to be the doer or to be the experiencer or the enjoyer of this realm? It cannot be that this person, which is a figment of our imagination, which is just a bundle of beliefs, can actually have some doership. If we cannot even find it, that which we cannot find, we have presumed that one to be the doer, you see. It's a classical upside down mind trick. We cannot find this one, but we presume that this person must be the doer. Presume that this person is the experiencer or the sufferer or the enjoyer. You see? But this person does not exist. No person exists right now. The body is appearing, sensations are appearing, thoughts are appearing. You see? But the one that wants freedom, the one that wants security, the one that wants to enjoy, that one we cannot find. You see? So how does the play happen? Is it that is actually here prior to the body, the sensations and these thoughts? There is a sense that I exist. This sense I am is what we call consciousness. And with the birth of consciousness or the arrival of consciousness, with the arrival of the waking state or the dream state, also come all the phenomenal energies and powers of the realm. So the purely phenomenal powers would be like light, sound, materiality, gravity, electricity, magnetism. All of this comes from where? There's a divine intelligence that even drives all of this, isn't it? But even more intimate than these phenomenal powers are the powers of attention and of belief. Only that to which attention goes seems to be alive for us in this realm. Like Guruji also says, there could be 1,000 objects around you, but that which seems to exist is only that which has got your attention. But you will find that the other power, which is the power of belief, cannot be given directly to an object. You see? You look at a computer or you look at the flower, there is nothing to believe in that. It is just looking, just a play of attention which is happening. The belief only goes to an interpretation of an object which comes from the mind. So this energy construct called thoughts is what can get our belief. And you find that the idea of the individual existence, the individual enjoyer or the individual sufferer, cannot become strong without the belief in these thoughts, unless we identify with them. pretend to be a person. And when we say we cannot pretend to be a person, this we is consciousness. I cannot pretend to be a person unless I, as consciousness, I'm using my power of belief to believe these energy constructs called thoughts. You see? So that which is just constructed with our beliefs, that which doesn't even have existence in this realm of, does not even consist of atoms and molecules or cells and DNA, that cannot be the doer or the enjoyer or the sufferer or the victim. Therefore, who must be the doer and the enjoyer? We find that all of this is a play of consciousness. Consciousness is the doer and the experiencer. So when it is said in the prayer, Tvam Karta, Tvam Bhokta, which is the ultimate statement of surrender, this Karta, which is the doer, and Bhokta, which is the experiencer, must be that which is here, the immaculate conception called consciousness. So the experiencing of the good feelings and the bad feelings, of the good thoughts and the bad thoughts, is experienced by this consciousness itself. Because it is the only one here. All there is actually is consciousness. So consciousness is tasting itself in that which we call the experience. The play, the lila only means this. It is consciousness playing with itself. You see? Therefore, it would be accurate to say that I, as consciousness, am the doer and I am the experiencer. You see? But in the Ashtavakra Gita, what is the sage saying? The sage is saying, go even deeper than that. Because this brings us to the point of when I say, can you stop being now? And you say, no, being, I am. I just exist. How can I stop being? Usually that is the response, isn't it? And then I say, who is aware even of this being? Then takes you even deeper in the looking. Some of you might say that, no, but I am just happy being with this being. You see, I'm just happy to just be. And I don't want to look deeper, and that's completely fine, because already, if you find that you are this being itself, you are not presuming yourself to be a person anymore. It is enough. It is the end of your suffering. Because you find that in the space of being, all of these emotions, sensations are minute, like the small dots on a big wall. And just because attention gets focused on the dots, it seems like are very relevant or meaningful. But once we start looking at the broader space, the minuscule compared to what I truly am. In the infinite space of beingness, all my suffering and even my enjoyment actually are just these small tiny blips which are coming and going. But as I'm finding myself to be this being, and I'm unassociated with the idea of being a person, I'm finding that all these beautiful forces of love, peace, and joy are arriving in my service. So I am not a servant of love from this perspective. I am not a servant of peace or joy. They are the powers which are created by me and are in service to me. So from the perspective of consciousness, we can say these beautiful things. You see? But then some of you might say that, yes, I'm open to even looking deeper than that. You see? Who is that is aware even of this consciousness? What can we say about that one? Then we find that I am this awareness. Even prior to beingness, from this perspective, and only from this perspective must we talk like this, because many times in Advaita we are quick to say yes, yes, even consciousness is coming and going. We must not be quick to come to these kind of statements. Only from the highest perspective as awareness can we say even consciousness is coming and going. I experience the waking state and I experience the sleep state. Even my consciousness or unconsciousness, I must be aware of. So that which is aware even of consciousness, talking to and saying you are neither the doer nor the experiencer or the enjoyer. Because as awareness, you see, we find that we are this king, formless one.
Father, that resonates with that resonates over here. And then there's a question that comes
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
which is, as consciousness, we are playing with ourselves.
Yes.
So that's kind of amusing, because I think, well, with myself, why would I create crap? Why would I create stuff to be annoyed about?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm playing with if I have this infinite power, which I do, I know that in theory. If I have this infinite power to create whatever, then why aren't I creating all these lovely plays instead of
Yes.
bad endings? You know what I mean? It's like, what the
Yes.
heck?
What am I doing?
What am I
Yes.
doing? Why am I? If I'm the Lord of the universe, why the hell am I creating crap?
Yes, this is a fair question. Let's look at this. I would say the quick answer is that because it's very boring. If everything was just goody goody all the time and nice, we'd be immensely bored, and this would not be as entertaining as we felt. And to check on this, all that we have to do is say, okay, what are the favorite stories, favorite movies, favorite books of this world? You see, War and Peace, Crime and Punishment. Why isn't it that the best book ever is when the protagonist starts off happy and is leading a happy life every day, and everything is full of joy all of the time? You see, then you read that, then you read a few pages, you say, nothing is happening here. You go for a movie and you see that this guy wakes up and he's so happy and he's got a very peaceful life. Then he goes to sleep. The next day he wakes up, same thing, he's very happy. Then reverse. Within 15 minutes we are bored and say, what is this? Nothing is happening in this movie. So as long as we are believing ourselves to be a person, then this can seem like very oppressive. That what am I doing? Why is this world so full of suffering? You see, but once we take the higher perspective as consciousness, that which cannot be hurt, you see, then we want to enjoy ourselves through all this drama, you see, and also this pretense is made so that this drama can be enjoyed very deeply. You see? Something must be feeling like relating. Imagine it's like a book which is so compelling that you are actually believing yourself to be the protagonist. So everything that happens to the protagonist in the book you can believe is happening to you through the power of your belief. You can actually do this with the book. Many get attached to the characters in a movie or a book, isn't it? So, so this is just exactly how this is being played. So not only is this realm of enjoyment made in such a way where a lot of dramatic things happen, there is salt and there is sugar. This is the realm of duality, you see. So everything has its opposites. If there is a sage in this realm, there is also a serial killer. There is nothing which is without its opposites, which is available in this realm. You see, realm of duality, and this duality is the sugar and the spice of this life. Ultimately boring. You see? So if this is a leela, if this is entertainment, then it needs this contrast. Like we say in Satsang, if it was sweet, 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 you would not even taste the sweet anymore. It would just be numb. You see, it would just be numbing. It would just be dull. So therefore, we need the contrast of taste. You see? So the person can say, "Oh, but why do these things happen to me? Why can't I just have a happy life?" Because you actually wouldn't want that. Be interesting. You want the movie, the book to have its ups and downs. You see? So that is how you get an insight into why is this and also what
Yeah.
you will
Okay.
find is I want to make this point that if you were to take the moments of pure actually happens, some grief come up or some anger come up or suffering come up, those are very very few actually in a day. You see, it is just that we have the time to be in this end of the spectrum, which is the negative end of the spectrum according to the mind. You see, like if I say, like I was sharing this with someone the other day, that if I say I love you, I love you, you see, I say this 100 times. Only once I say, I really hate you. What will the mind hang on to? It'll forget the 100 times of where I said I really love you and say, oh, maybe that was just, because he's always like that with everyone. But he hates me. The mind has this tendency to hang on to the negative much more than it hangs on to the positive, usually. So that is why like how many times is somebody that we know actually behaving badly with us? How many bad experiences do we have in our life? You see, not so many. It can seem like, oh, that's a lot actually once I start counting. But how many times does a stranger smile at you? How many times do you find just people being kind? You see, how many times you just find just normal, regular, natural life flowing? That is much, much more. You see, much, much more. But we hang on to that which is or seemingly like an attack because the ego thrives on this attack, which is the same thing. So because that is the nature of the mind, it can seem like, oh, there is so much suffering in the world. Even a sage like the Buddha said the world is suffering. But actually, if you were to do a quantitative analysis very objectively, you will find that the suffering is just but like I heard someone say once that it is like the tail of the dog, but because it wags so much, a lot of attention goes to it, you see. So it can seem like, oh, there's so much suffering in the world. You see? Right now in this moment, it's so beautiful, it's so natural, it's so no suffering. You see, but in the entire 3 hours of satsang or 2 hours of satsang, if anything negative is said, you see, especially about me, then that is what will be remembered. Everything else in satsang will be forgotten. Only that will keep repeating itself, isn't it? That is the nature of the mind, and that's why it seems like the world is full of suffering. Actually, it is of the time with sugar and spice mixed in so that the play remains full of life and full of interest. You see, that is how the play is designed. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
It's feel like for us like this is not my experience. So what is not my
Yeah, yeah,
personal
yeah.
experience? Like when I
Which
was
one is not your experience?
like suffering is tree or it's just that not on my personal context, but like I certainly know that what you're saying is truth, but that's not experience here. Like I was coming back from a small station,
Yeah.
so there was a small girl of hardly 2.5 year old, probably of my nieces. Like she hardly could walk, and she was carrying pile of woods, firewoods, uh, walking down from train station. So like something which I really want to see, but that's not my experience. It's not that. It look even suffocating to believe that this
Yes.
suffering conceptual is like first world people sitting and which contemplating on their mind and saying that okay you're not suffering,
Yeah.
but for that child I don't know, means it's I can't say
Yeah.
which is not true here.
Yeah. Yes. So let's look at this again because it's very important. And this was the so okay. Just to share a personal story. When my son was born, for the first 6 months, we struggled with a lot of medical issues. So we changed 6 or 7 pediatricians because we were not happy with the kind of quality of service that we were getting from the doctors. And this feeling came here that if it is like this for us, for those who can even afford the best services, what must it be like for the children who are living in the slums of Bangalore, who are living in these places? And it must be really a struggle. And I found that there's a lot of uh, malpractice, there are a lot of quacks. So you go to a doctor in the slum, he's not a real doctor, he just set up a stall, you see, and he says, doctor, this. And anyone who comes gets a distilled water injection saying that it's a medicine, you see. And all that happens is, if it happens, is a placebo effect if something feels better. But kids are not getting the medical treatment that they deserve. There is a lot of malnourishment. They're not getting enough food to eat. Many of the children are not getting vaccination. I found these things, and they really had a deep wanted to do something about it. You see? So that's how we started something called the Kushal Foundation, where you are taking care of the outpatient needs of a lot of these children, and they would come, and we had proper doctors looking after them. So what did I find? What was the learning there for me throughout this experience of doing Kushal? I found that if you were to measure happiness per capita, you know, if you were to measure happiness, the number of smiles, I found much more in the slums than I found in my life before that, in the corporate world, in the world of money and finance and computers. You see, so I found that these parents, these children, are actually leading a much happier life. They're smiling a lot more. There's much more joy. There's so much in the moment. You go to that center over there, and the kids, even the ones with diseases, are just laughing, and it's full of life and noise, and so full of all of this. And I realized that even this, saying that I am going to help these children, is only a sign of my arrogance. You see, I realized that this actually perspective that I am going to help these kids was deeply arrogant, and I found that actually the 2 years helped me actually. You see, showed me that life is just about this moment. Life is right now. You have kids who would come with polio and many diseases, but you do not find that that which we call suffering. Of course, pain is there. So many times we have these ideas that they are suffering so much. Actually, it might be that we are suffering more, thinking that they are suffering so much. But once we come face to face with what is actually their experience, they find it very natural. Many of the things, you see, which we say, okay, they are suffering with so much of this. Another example is when I was doing seva at one place. So most of you heard this one, no? And there was a new structure being built in that ashram. So there were these people who were, the ones who were building that structure were there. So just after lunch, there was so much leftover food. So someone came up with a bright idea that, there are these poor workers over there and they must not be having enough food to eat and things like that. They must be suffering from so much hunger. So let's take this food to them. They must be needing it, you see. So then a few of us trudged all the way with these heavy buckets of food. And we got there and these people were like, no, no, thank you, we've just eaten. And they were just dangling their lunch boxes and saying, we don't want, you see. So many times we presume we know what their state is. Actually, maybe we are projecting our state onto them and they are leading a much happier existence than we can imagine. Yeah. So at least in my experience, I found that it's not necessary that those who have physical hardship are suffering more. Many times I found that those who have more mental hardship are suffering more. You see, what does this mean? It doesn't mean that we must not do anything to try and help each other. It's very much kindness and belongingness is very much part of beautiful play of this realm. But let's not go with any presumption that we understand what another is going through. Let us just see for ourselves. So if you want to make a conclusive assumption about the suffering of another, let's spend like 3 days with them and count. So in the 72 hours, how many hours was this person actually seeming to suffer? You just spot in a moment some child is having some difficulty picking up something and you say, oh, there's so much suffering in their life. Maybe they're suffering less. Because maybe the physical burden is less than the mental burden that we are carrying. So I can only speak from my experience and tell you that I have seen that those who have less material ambition, less material possession, seem to be suffering less. That is the irony of this world. In my experience, or whatever I've seen. This doesn't mean that suffering doesn't exist for those who have less. I'm not saying that conclusively as a general statement. I've seen mostly in my experience this is true. So I found that Kushal Foundation was for me actually. It showed me so much how to be happy in the most dire of circumstances. You see? How to be happy with living in a small hut, you see? With no sanitation, with no nothing. How it's possible to smile all day almost, you see? And play on the streets and just be so free of this. So I learned that it was a arrogant presumption on my part to presume that, oh, these poor children or these poor people, they have no money and I must help them. So then what happens? Then the perspective switches to real brotherhood. You see? It becomes really just helping my brother instead of saying that, oh, I'm going to help these poor people. Because truly, if it was a give and take in those times where I used to run Kushal, then I feel like I got a lot more than I gave from these children, from the parents. You see, I would have parents of these kids come in, and sometimes the kids would have some serious diseases. But you see that there's so much more acceptance of life with these parents. They would have a much more surrendered attitude and even happy even through these dire circumstances. You see, many times these kids would come and I would start to cry, seeing that they are suffering with this polio or some other terminal disease. You see, but the parents were giving me strength, saying it's okay. You know, this is God's will. This is how it is, and at least I have them for whatever time I do have them. So let's enjoy them for that much time. Very beautiful learning was there for us. So what I was truly saying is that if you were to take a quantitative view of our life, we will find that the mind holds on to that which seems to be giving suffering much more. Okay? So just like in your example, you must have seen on all your journeys, you must have seen thousands of people who are just regular, who are just, some of them happy, talking to their families, enjoying themselves, going on vacation, you see. But what does the mind specifically hold on to? These things which are more the cause of suffering, you see. Did you see happy people in your travels, or did you see more unhappy ones?
Certainly much more happy, but on the
Especially
same,
Bhutan, if you went to, then that is highest per capita happiness. No?
yeah, even like Nepal, one day I was like traveling in local bus, and there's like a 5 6 lady take
Yeah.
first like certain example, like one day I was traveling in local bus in Nepal, and that like 5 6 mid-age ladies
Ladies.
came, probably they coming from movie or something, and they were like cracking joke and laughing on each other, like a 14 13 14-year-old woman, which I haven't seen like in probably corporate or kind of
Exactly.
life I've been living. That people are so in their
Free.
cells and like how present and all that. So they were natural, but on the same time, this is. I'm still sorry to be rebellious. This
No,
is not
no.
my experience, and it just at the moment it's just a discussion, and I just felt like I can't until unless it's experienced here. Ki this suffering is not real. I
Yes.
can't trust on that.
Then you must. Uh, Ramesh used to say something very beautiful. He would say, either you do it or you drop it. You see? You find that there's something that bothers you, then do something about it. Help some people, do something. You see? If it is just going to be like just some mental or intellectualization about other suffering, then it's not really helpful to anyone, and you're making yourself suffer. You see? So find those that you suffer. We can go together one day to the slums, and we can go give them some bananas. At least we take a small step. No? We feel like we must fix the entire world in one shot, but that starfish story is very good. You know the starfish story, so at least it helped that one at that moment. So if you really find fire in this, you must find it also within yourself to say, yes, suffering so much, these children have so much trouble in their life, so how can I play my part in this world? How can I bring a smile to one child's face today? So let's start like that. It's very good. But it's not helpful to just take that on and just then say, oh, so much. The world is actually suffering. Because if you're giving that reality to the world, then let's also give it that reality that I can do something about it. It is this middle path, you see, which is the most struggle. On one hand, we don't fully surrender, and on one hand, we don't take full responsibility. Is this middle, sometimes surrendered, sometimes responsibility. You see? So if you feel like the suffering is real, then also you must feel like your existence in this realm is real. So how can you use your existence in this realm to help these poor children? You see? And let's take responsibility for that and do something.
Uh, Father, sorry to be bit like rebellious
It's
about
okay.
these things. Uh, it was more on that like conceptual understanding and the discussion where we it's frustration about that more on that like oh there's not suffering but like even for its existence for that illusion what that child or probably somebody is suffering because life itself adjusts itself with circumstances so is even if somebody dies he will live with that existence
Yeah.
and he probably have good face and bad face but for someone who's well to do and saying okay he's not suffering that was like for he's not realized the one who's on the bed 24/7 paralyzed he's not realized for him that suffering is real and
Yeah.
I as a seeker I am also not realized I have just conceptual understanding that okay he's not suffering and I'm propagating that on him oh you're not suffering and I've been so shallow about that it's just all what I'm like concept I have I don't see that I don't see at a
Yes.
reality that thing.
Yes. But you have the opposite concept that they must be suffering, you see. So can you validate that? Take a project. Take a project where you will interview 10 people who are in paralysis or on wheelchairs or something, and you will go and video interview them for a documentary. You talk to them and see, compare their suffering in their life, which they experience day to day. Then we can speak. So you want to speak non-conceptually because it feels like to you that we are speaking from this position of just extrapolating our ideas on others who are going through such a rough time, isn't it? So can you validate this, that this is not a concept for you also, that we are extrapolating without direct experience of what they are going through? I have spoken about from what I have experienced directly. Why don't you also try something? Some of you just take, one of you take your mobile phones or a camera, take my camera if you like. You go to the streets, go to the slums of Bangalore, or go to some hospital where they treat. Go to Cheshire Homes where Zia went and did some seva. Go there. There's these beautiful girls on wheelchairs and on these artificial legs. Go speak to them and see how much are they really suffering. Is it true your concept about their suffering? Can we do like that? Or are we too caught up in our belief that even that we are so clear that it must be true that we don't want to actually check?
Maybe I'm like bit caught up with that idea and it more coming from like I've been to certain phase you know about
Yes,
my
yes,
past mom
yes,
and childhood I have
yes,
troublesome bit so if I compare that current time
yes,
so yeah certainly there is a qualitative difference so and that difference is real and that different for that child it was real and
yes,
maybe he had a time of happy and
yes,
peaceful but he have some deep impression which he
yes,
carried all his life
yes,
so
yes,
probably that is continuing in lot of life and expression so yeah.
yes, yes, yes. But what you must allow yourself to get into is allow this, what happened with you in the past. It was very, very strong, and you don't wish it on anyone. But because that happened in your past, you must not lose your present also to that. You see, because right now you are here. You see? So if you take those memory impressions and you project them into this present and into your own future as well, you see, then you will only fulfill the trajectory of that child. The whole point of satsang is to see if we can come to the true recognition of who we are. Go karmic momentum, so to speak. You see? Otherwise, it's a never-ending cycle. One lifetime of beautiful joy and bliss, one lifetime of terrible suffering, give and take. What you sow is what you reap. Is movement back and forth. Will constantly continue, never-ending cycle of birth and death, isn't it? What are we talking about? Coming to the recognition of who we are, and to see whether all of this, the strong, terrible times and the beautiful, most pleasant times, who is the experiencer and sufferer of these? This is what we are really talking about. Now, especially in this kind of satsang, you see, if there is a feeling that I, the one that was that child, which is still the person that I am here, as a benefit out of this, then that seems impossible. You see, you might find some times of peace and joy and love, you might feel like that, but that is also not going to last, you see, because those are just the byproducts. You see, the main thing is to come to the discovery, who is that? Was I ever that child actually? And will immediately come and say, yeah, easy for him to say, he didn't have to go through all that, or can have this kind of reaction. But the fact is that whatever has happened to anyone, really, ultimately in the reality, they have only been this awareness or the witness. They have never been the sufferer. And because we can have a lot of identity about this suffering, it can seem like, no, but I was that one. I did suffer through all of this. How can you say? It can seem like an attack also in some way, you see, but it's not. It is just pointing to you right now. Are you within that body which is sitting? Are you the sufferer of the things which happen to this body? Or are you that which witnesses not just animating light of consciousness in the light of which this body comes to life? You must be open to let me also not say we must be, because there can be a time where, and that's completely fine with me, you see. So you say that, look at that right now, I want to feel this person, I want to feel like I'm coming to some resolution of my past suffering and I want to help the suffering of this world, you see. Then we can talk about that separately. We can say, okay, what can we do? Can we do something that actually helps other children who could be in similar positions today? You see? What is not very attractive to me is sit and say, oh, the world is suffering so much, the world is suffering so much, and just to suffer because of that. Neither are we then doing something about it, neither are we surrendering, and neither are we inquiring. We're just holding these concepts to not look deep and neither to actually make a difference. It comes time to, okay, let's go do something about it. We say, okay, but I am not the doer. You see, many are like that, but I am not the doer. Then we become Advaita. When it comes the time to actually look at who we are, then we say, but I actually suffered. So one that suffered is also a doer, no? Isn't it? So we must get some clarity about what is it that is my urge right now. What is my innermost urge or innermost urge? Otherwise, it's very confusing state to live, and I've been there many times, so I can see it. Like this also, that also, it gets confusing. I want my life to be this way. I want to find the truth also, but I want to be a good also, and I want to make lots of money at work also. Things have happened here, and I know that it can cause a lot of confusion. So we must look at ourselves and say, what is my deepest urge right now? What do I really want? You see, and that is integrity. When Maharaj said integrity, to look deeply and say, okay, this is what my thirst is, my deepest thirst is for this. What would you say is your deepest thirst?
Come back home.
Deepest urge is to come back home. Then this pointing that you don't have to go anywhere, you are home. Just refuse to pick up the idea that you like is in response to this deepest urge. You see? Then everything else is secondary. You see? What is the second deepest urge? Because it can be that yes, it's true that yeah, but there's also another strong one which could be playing out, which then seems to create some sort of confusion in our life. So if you were to find another one, what would it be for you?
Free but
Huh?
free, just free. First to be free, second to be free dog, what we had discussed before. Like, yeah, means like continue travel, have resources, just be do what you feel like. So it's like having that outer expression, that freedom also.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That we look, because this freedom is a very heard sort of freedom. I should just be able to do what I feel to do. जो भी मन में आए मैं करूं. It should be like that. Many say like this in India. I feel like doing. I should have the resources, and I should have the things, and I should. If I want to travel here, I should be able to. If I want to be this way, then I should be able to do that. You see. Now, will it be too confusing for you if I say that these two urges are in contradiction with each other?
I certainly know that. That second is it just it even not real. It's like temporary phenomena which runs out its fuel because it's looking in experience what you can't get in experience. So yeah.
Good. So this is already seen, and we can allow it to be light and allow it to play itself out in whatever way it is playing. What about the urge to help those who are suffering?
It further, to be very honest, it was like more on kind of, sorry to say, but rebellious on this concept about, oh, he's not suffering, and then there is a discussion. So I just feel so suffocated with this discussion. When if it coming from Guruji or you, I feel okay, very much aligned with that, because I haven't seen, but you had seen, and I know somewhere in deep that is true, where you're seeing and saying that. But somebody, this kind of discussion, I feel very suffocated with their discussions.
Yes. So that's why I was saying that why the suffocation happens or the confusion happens or the rebelliousness comes is because we have a concept of something, another has another concept of something. You see, many are speaking conceptually on both sides, and the fight is about the concept. You see, we are like two people arguing about the shape of the moon. Nobody's actually measured it or seen the actual. You see, so in Bangalore saying the height of the Eiffel Tower is this much. You see, nobody's ever been to Paris. They're just sitting and arguing. No, on this photo, it looks like this. On this one, it looks. Two are arguing. So the one is saying, "But you are wrong. It can't be taller than what is the tall thing? Petronas Towers or Burj Khalifa." So one is saying, "No, Eiffel Tower is taller than Burj Khalifa." Neither have seen anything. It is like my son. My son, he sits and cries every time Manchester United loses a match. He's never been to England. He doesn't place. Yes. So it's just like, it is the concept. This is my team. I've seen that, the sense of this thing can be there, but it's just conceptual, isn't it? It has nothing to do with Britain. It has nothing to do with Manchester, but just this sense of ownership has been built on. And that's why I'm saying that rather than speaking conceptually, because you're also speaking conceptually, another could be also speaking conceptually. Rather than speaking conceptually, why don't we actually go? There are enough hospitals and enough slums in Bangalore where you can actually go and check what is their actual state. You see, so so then that way we're not just saying no, that child is really suffering. How much are you suffering right now? Is he carrying that heavy pile of wood or something like this? I've seen many like that who do some very hard physical labor, but in those times when I would see them, I would find that they are still suffering less than me. So at least that is what I find from my experience. Now, if you were to go and tell me that, yes, this is what you had in your experience, but I want to correct that because in my experience, I spoke to so many, found that they're really suffering in their life and we must do something. I'm very happy, but not just if it's coming from a concept or a belief of their suffering.
Father?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just 1 second, my dear. There is some more hands that went up. We'll come to you after that.
Okay.
Yes. Start by telling us your name, my dear.
So my name is Kishore. I live in the San Francisco area. I was just visiting here, so I'm here. My question was that when I am the person,
yes,
I feel like I understand what doership is, what to expect. When I am in this state where I am awareness, I don't know if I feel what doership is, experiencing is. And I was just wondering if as a person, the dictionary meaning of doership and experiencing is one which I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But when I am the awareness, I am in this, I feel I am the awareness, I feel that I am also the doer,
yes,
or the experiencer.
Yeah.
And when you were reading, it was kind of the no thing is the doer and the experiencer. And I guess I don't understand what the no thing is, how the no thing is the doer and experiencer.
Yes. Before we come to even the question of doership, let's look at something else together, which is whether awareness is a state. You see, so if awareness was a state, even aware, isn't it? So can you now not be aware?
No.
You see? So if you cannot not be aware, another state which is just coming and going?
No, it's always there.
Always there. And therefore, in reality, what are you always?
Awareness.
You are this awareness. Say that I become in the state of personhood. What does it actually imply?
I'm pretending to be a person
Pretend. This is good. So how do we pretend?
by believing that I am separate.
By this belief. Very good. Very good. Now, the question was that if I am this no thing, which is awareness, if I am invisible, formless, unattached, then I don't see how I am the doer. You see? So that is why the saying to this one that you are and you are not the experiencer. You see? So neither the person is the doer of the experiencer, nor the awareness is the doer of the experiencer. So then if these labels have to be applied to somebody, then we have this one scapegoat for everything. You see? Who is the doer and experiencer? God is, consciousness is.
But consciousness
Yes.
is awareness.
Let's look at this. So awareness is the constant. The sleep state can come, the dream state can come, whatever the state might be, there has to be first an awareness of it to be able to even say that there is sleep state, there is dream state, isn't it? So this awareness is unchanging. Now consciousness, you see, there is a distinction, there is no distinction in reality, but there is a qualitative distinction in the play. You see, like there is a difference between, qualitative difference between being and seeing. You see, this primal witnessing and being, fundamentally they are one, because even this being is made up of this witnessing itself. You see, we'll come to that also if you like. But in the qualitative play, just like hot and cold seem different, are experienced differently, just in that way, this being versus that which sees, which is aware even of this being, are different. You see, because at least for consciousness, for being, the attribute of existence, a sense of existence is there. But for awareness, even this attribute would be too much to say, isn't it? So then what happens? We see that it is our experience, that which we call sleep state, that only awareness is, there is nothing else beyond this. There is no time, there is no space, there is no sense of being, there is just nothing. You see? When something appears, it also appears out of this nothing, isn't it? So if it appears out of this nothing and within this nothing, it must be made up of this nothing itself, isn't it? Therefore, from that perspective, we can say that consciousness is also awareness fundamentally. You see? But qualitatively, we find like the difference is like the difference between just water and ice. You heard that, is it? So now from this perspective, ask what your question was.
So if I am being,
Yes.
then I am just being
Yes.
in the moment.
Yeah.
The being and doing coexisting, or
Yes,
being and
yes, yes,
experiencing coexisting.
And now I get your question. Okay. So the sense of personal doership is very doership. Right? I have to do this, I'm moving my hands, all these ideas there. When we refer the doer, we're not referring to that as if it is deciding and then doing in that way.
So it's in its presence, things are
Exactly. So it is the light and the screen. The light and the screen and the projection, all of it is just consciousness.
and
So
it's just happening.
it is just
because it's
happening.
there.
Yes.
Its presence.
In the presence, world of movement seems to come into play. In that way, it is the doer. Yes.
And how is being and experiencing, is experiencing the same as knowing or witnessing, or are they different?
Let's look at this. This is a beautiful question. So you taste an orange. You see? You see? And while the taste is happening, there is a deeper knowing, a deeper awareness that the tasting of the orange is happening. See? So that which we call experiencing belongs to consciousness. You see? You see? So you're tasting the fruit. It is experienced. By who? By consciousness. Awareness is aware. But we cannot say that awareness is tasting the orange. You see?
So one is more phenomenal.
Yes.
The other
Exactly.
is
So that's why I use the term phenomenal perceiving. So there is awareness even of the phenomenal perceiving, and the phenomenal perceiving is a function of consciousness. You see, using the power of attention. You see? So beingness in tandem with attention to this sort of phenomenal perceiving, but that awareness remains untouched, and yet it is aware of even this perceiving.
I guess just a related question.
Yes, yeah.
That I mean, the way you explain being and awareness, when you say somebody is aware of being, I guess I can't feel the distinction, if you will, and it's just
Yeah. You can't sense the distinction between being and aware.
yeah. And,
So then that would mean that the two questions, can you stop being now? And the question, don't be aware now, they sound like the same to you?
and
Exactly.
awareness is just a universal state, or as maybe state is not, but a universal.
I know what you mean. That's good. So just this qualitative difference is the distinction. So the sense of existence, I am. You see, because if it was true that I was not able to distinguish between awareness and being, then I would not be able to distinguish between sleep state and waking state. Because what changes in the waking state? Only this being comes to play. Gopala wanted to say? It's gone or it's still there? Something you wanted to ask or say? What happened? You take the mic.
By the by the grace of Satsang, awareness is abidance is there, but in the foreground that slight irritation, that something that pulls me down is also seen. That
take an example. I'm better with examples.
I'm tied down by a need.
By need? Like a need for material possession? For affection? What kind of need are we talking?
Yeah, a need to possess an object. And
to possess something. Okay.
I'm tied down by that. I'm feeling suffering.
You have to mute, my dear, otherwise the echo is coming. So, when we say, you know I'm going to ask you this. So, tie down with that. What are we referring to?
Person. Yeah, the person is still a slight remnant of that personhood is still seen.
Yes.
In spite of the vastness and the joy of the vastness and and the beauty of the vastness.
Yes. So there is a belief that you need something. You see? You need a particular object. So who is this I that needs something? Does it have any reality to it? Is the person real? Is it here?
But it's playing in the foreground, like
But cannot play without our belief, And when belief goes, we must not be in denial of. We must be able to say that yes, I still have a belief that my life would be better if I was with this one, or I want this one. We have picked up this I,
Yes, yes.
So who is this one that needs something? Does it have any real or tangible existence? Even to play in the foreground, juice from your interest, your belief, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Now, if that belief is going and it feels like you have no control over this belief, like when the dish is coming on the conveyor belt, you feel like you have to pick it up. You see? Then we must not be in denial of that. You see? Then we must say, what is it that still feels like some need is unfulfilled? What is the lack which is still being experienced here that I feel needs to fulfill itself with the acquisition of another person or an object? Can we find this one? And really look for this one. Really look. Don't say, I know, no, it doesn't exist.
Looking, it's not there.
Yes. So when we look, it is not there. Then we must, if it is still seems to play a lot, then we must look more. You see, because when we find and we look, we don't find this one. You see, and still something seems to play a lot like that. Then we must look more so that the playing can then subside a lot more. It's like saying that I see every time I check, I see that the sun comes from the east, but the play of the sun coming from the west still continues. Then what must we do? We must look again actually comes from.
So it's with your grace,
Yeah.
Guru's grace,
Mike?
with the Guru's grace, most of the conditioning has gone. But this slight remnant, that.
How slight is it? Because if it's really slight, we won't bother. And if it was really slight, you would not have bothered. So how slight is it?
You got me. It's big time.
See, because when something really becomes light, especially in satsang, you feel like you can't even remember the question. You come to satsang field of energy, and if something is really light, you're like, oh, that was bothering me. I don't even remember what is. You see, so because you're able to recall it, and you seem like it plays even in the satsang environment, then I know that we have to find out really is it that slight, and if it is not that light yet, then we must look more and say who is the one that needs. Is there still some quiet belief that goes to it because it's a habit, you see. And these are our deeply conditioned ideas about ourselves. The rest, you say, have been chopped away. You see? It's like if we had, so like we saw that Garima's photo with those awards, and those awards were like the heads. You see, so if you like Ravan, we had 10 heads of various identities. You see, if most of them have been chopped off in satsang, you see, and one still stays, and it says it's almost gone. It's still dangling a bit. Can you take it? You see how to take it off? Just to look. Is it real? Is it true that I am this? Huh? No. Yes. Now, if you give it to me, then don't take it back. Yeah, of course. Take the mic.
I think everyone is I mean, by the end, it's in looking and real looking. So easy, it's really easy. Maybe when we speak to you, it's so easy. It's so easy at that time, but you know, goes on and on and on and on. Like,
You mean when you leave satsang?
yeah. No, it's as I said, even now, oh, awesome peace and awesome love and everything is there. Everything is there. Awesomeness is there. But this slight irritation,
Slight.
is not slight, as you said. Yes, at this moment, it's big time, you know. I want to just take it and throw it away. Where? Hindering my freedom. Because I want to.
It'll help if you are able to define exactly what you want to throw away. If we don't want to do it in broadcast and satsang, maybe later also we can talk about it. But sometimes it can be that we want to something which is a very natural part of human existence. You see? Like someone can come to satsang and say, "Hungry anymore," because now I'm in satsang, then I should not feel like eating food. I should just not feel hungry anymore. So will you just then take it away? So similarly, we can talk about lust. You see, things like this. So there is no need to throw away these normal aspects of our human existence. It's important to throw away any belief system that we might have built around it. So if you built a belief system around hunger that I must only eat this kind of food and it must be only this kind of thing, and it starts to cause suffering for that belief system can be thrown away. It doesn't mean we'll stop feeling hungry. It doesn't mean that, okay, spiritual, when I enter a temperature which is sub-zero, I should still not feel cold. You see, you still feel cold. You'll still feel hot. You'll still feel hunger. You'll still feel lust. So what must be thrown away is our ideas and stories around these things. So what is it that you want to throw away? Of your existence, or is it the story? Because I'm very happy to take the story, but I cannot.
I understand from
Yes.
scriptures that the secrets get burnt away when you
So
abide in the self.
So hunger is not a vasana.
Hunger doesn't go.
Then
It's a natural environment.
that's why I'm saying that why. See, this is the thing with lust. With sex, it is this thing, either we make it very special or we make it very shameful and we say you are a tendency, you are. It's as natural as hunger. Either special or shameful. We cannot be neutral about it somehow in this human existence. Why? It's very natural. What's the problem? You see, and because our conditioning about it can be so strong. I remember visiting Tiruvannamalai with an older gentleman and his wife. So he must be about 75. His children are older than this body, so he must be quite old. So then my wife and his wife were just walking around Ramana Ashram. We were sitting outside the main hall, and he says, "Can I tell you something?" Of course, you can. I call him uncle actually. Yeah, of course. So he says, the trip in the first part was very beautiful. Midway through the trip is that this tendency that I have, this lust that I have, has been acting up even in Tiruvannamalai. And now when I enter the meditation hall or the darshan hall, anywhere I'm going, I'm just finding myself attracted to looking at the women who are there. I'm not being able to focus on my meditation and things like this. And this has always been my problem throughout my life. I've not been able to find my freedom because of this. You see? But what I found is that, and what I also told him is that it's very important to be natural about these things. If you try to push it away, put it in a box, you see, not feel something which is a natural part of our existence to procreate, to have these desires is a very, very instinctive, very natural part of not just human existence, but existence in this living realm for all species, isn't it? So why must we want to throw it away? We must throw away our ideas about them. We must throw our idea of either specialness or shamefulness about it. You see? And in India, it is very popular to feel guilty about lust. You're setting yourself a benchmark for some freedom, which also you're implying to yourself that this will to procreate that. But who said that? And maybe a scripture, like you're saying, some scriptures have, but I'm saying this now. This our way. There are many different ways, and some are the seeming denial of these. You must fast. You must do this. You must do that. Ours is the wayless way, the pathless path. Nothing else needs to happen. None of your normal human existence tendencies need to go away. That which is unnatural will naturally dissolve. And especially our ideas of guilt will dissolve. Of guilt will dissolve. Of shame will dissolve around this. Yes, these are reliant on our stories. You already have shown why, because you say, read in the scriptures that these tendencies must go. You see? But I'm saying that scripture, you listen to me, no? So drop your stories about these things. Hunger will come from time to time. Same way lust can come from time to time. To go if it has to go. There's nothing that you have to do about it, and it has nothing to do with your recognition of who you are. it remains as conditioning. That remains as conditioning are our stories about something. Clear? No? Because I want you to be done with this now. What is it?
I'm going to deeply reflect on this.
Yeah.
Or really deeply reflect on this. And
Why is it that lust must be shameful? Can we reflect on that?
transmute it now.
What do you mean transmute it? That word.
If I act on it, then it's a problem. Because I don't have a partner. And that's a problem.
So the reason that you want to be free from lust, is it because you don't have a partner, or is it because you have an idea of freedom which is lust free?
I have an idea about being free of that.
So I'm saying
Because
that your
the
freedom.
yogis don't have it. The yogis have transmuted it.
I've seen many yogis who have much more lust than you and me.
The big ones like Yogananda or Ramana Maharshi.
You will get me in trouble.
Like Papaji was saying, if
If
one in a
you
billion
bring out the big guns, then I have nothing to say.
where to get enlightened, it must be you. And I want that.
Yeah.
I want to be me. That 1 in a billion. I want it to be me.
But did he say first you must become lust free?
About that, but that's
So don't mix up two different things, because you are using these things to become guilty. You see? See, the ones who have left the body, let's not make any conclusions about what was experienced in their bodies, because we don't know. You see? And the one that is sitting in front of you here is saying that it's a very normal, natural functioning of the human body to experience these things. You see?
adding a lot of baggage.
It is the baggage is not the. It is the story.
I did once. I did. And it's costing me a lot of trouble. I added a baggage and costing me a lot of trouble.
Yes, so that question is different from this question, you see, because that is then if I'm experiencing this and I don't have a partner, then how should I go about my life? You know, that is the question then. So the answer to that question is that even in those situations, trust your intuitive guidance. Don't trust what the mind is saying. Trust your intuitive guidance to, and it will guide you even in all these practical matters. Otherwise, the nature of the mind is to make something very big out of it. The nature of the mind is to so you say that something happened and it caused a lot of trouble, but that something happened was such a short period of time, and this trouble seems to be so much longer, isn't it? The trouble must be about the story of what happened, isn't it? You know the story of the two Buddhists, no?
Yes, I do.
The young guy and the old one. All of us know this story. Why are you still carrying her on your back?
As I said that that's the need. It's that needling.
So can you leave all the concepts about this with me here now?
It's not a concept. This is a suffering.
Cannot suffer without a concept. You can feel pain without a concept. Show how you can suffer without a concept. Okay, let's take it step by step. Some experience happened. Okay? Now, it's usually two ends of the spectrum. So in this case, the mind spectrum is special or shameful. You see, so it could be that after the experience, the mind said, "Wow, that was so special, so good. It was the best thing. You see, this is the only thing I want." You see, so it become like the special spectrum, which is not true. You see, because no matter what the desire is, what the pleasure is, our senses have a limit. Pleasure can be. You see, so if you were to have that experience continuously, then after some time you would say, "Stop, enough. I've had enough." The best food, the best music, the best sensory experiences all have their limitations. You see, after a while they become tiring. So it is not as special as the mind makes it out to be, that this is the best thing. Because if you were to have it constantly, you would say, "Stop, enough." You see, the other extreme from the mind is, "This is terrible. I should not have done this. I've fallen from my spirituality, and this is all trouble." Nothing has happened. It's an experience that came and went. So it is neither special nor shameful. Just a part of our human existence. And how, on hearing this, some of you might be feeling that he is advocating some sort of recklessness or something. I'm not doing that. I'm saying trust your intuition. It will guide you in the best way. You see?
For me,
You have to take the mic.
for me, the goal is to
Goal is what?
disappear, melt and disappear.
Yes. But you cannot be surrendered and have a goal at the same time. This is the thing, no? You say it's all your problem, you take it. And then you say my goal is, how your goal, then it's all my goal. Now he's becoming too Advaita for
But basically, because of Satsang, because of your legs, life is very beautiful.
Yes.
Very, very beautiful. There's
Why you don't want to speak in the mic? They can hear from where? They can only see the mic.
yeah. It's very beautiful, very, very beautiful. And yes, very light, very light. But suddenly heaviness has come in again.
That which is left unresolved will come over and over to resolve itself. You see? So like I say, a blade of grass. So if something was left unresolved and it went away seemingly,
You take it and then you resolve it for me.
I'm saying I'm happy to take it, but you keep taking it back.
How am I taking it back?
You say my goal is, or the scriptures
there is
say,
no goal.
or the life
There is
of
no goal.
Bhagwan, if you bring out of
Only surrender. It's only
very
at your feet all the time.
That's good. Then you will not be able to show me trouble. Then you cannot show me trouble. Just leave it with me.
Then you don't pick it up for me.
to be able to say that this me, you will not be able to find a reference point to it at all. And even you can say that even the picking up is your problem now. But in that case, this me, you will not be able to even find. You will not be able to refer to yourself as me at all. Like Meera. Like Meera, you lose yourself. And the only Krishna is. What me?
Make it happen. Make it happen.
It's a deal.
Now. Now.
Deal.
Now. Now.
Yes,
now. Now.
It already happened.
Happen.
Happened.
Now.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
Will.
Yeah.
Now. Will. Can I embrace you on that?
Yes.
Give everything.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Say again. This is what Maria said, and then you can. Did I miss some? Lucia came. Nitya wanted to come. Okay. So Nitya, she typed at 11:38, so she can come. Then Maria, then Radha. 2 and very nice. No, I need to have a meeting, so I have to go in sometime. Yeah, so sure, you're good. Yeah, so first is this. Let me see. 2 hours. Then there is 2.5. And then there is 3. And then it is, please spare us. Stop, dear God. His face with hair. Very good. You must use this. And they're saying, please don't go 3 hours, because then to make the highlights and all is also a big pain. At least I'm presuming she means that. From the highlight makeup perspective, yes. Yes.
Can I come up now? Did you say
Yes,
that?
I did. You can come. Yeah, yes, yes.
I already wrote something in chat, and
I see, I see. You want me to read it?
yes, you can read.
She said, thank you so much, Father and Gopala, for this talk. 2 days I was strongly identified, holding on to resistance of what is and shame. Now a breakdown is happening in the body somehow. Very grateful. Take everything, Father. Nitya.
Mm.
Nitya.
But I also felt to come up because of this,
Yes.
just to show myself somehow, to not to hide anything, and it's just so good. This breakdown is just so good. I actually want to.
It looks like a very, very happy breakdown. These are the breakdowns everyone should have, just this big smiley breakdown.
Yes, this resistance to the bodily sensations here is breaking down.
Yes.
I just want to say also the story I wrote to you already, the story which I was so ashamed of, that I was at the dentist, and the dentist said, so I have a bridge over here, and he said there's caries underneath, and it has to be pulled out and exchanged, and there was so much shame about that because of old stories, and I was just not able to sleep 2 days, only because of the sensations in my whole head. Actually, is it's everything is painful, all the stuff, but this it was this sensation was so very much combined with the story already, with the interpretation. It was so tight, so very tight to the story, that I was not able to let the sensation be in the head and teeth and everywhere like they are, and over that, of course, the shame was there about it, and that makes everything impossible. And now this. There's no shame anymore, and now this it was so helpful to listen to you, to listen to your talks, and just to, and now the whole body feels like breaking down, So, and just it's totally fine now. It's totally fine. I'm so grateful. I'm just totally grateful, and I just want, if every rest and everything might still be here just at your feet.
Very
Thank
good.
you so much.
Very good. Very good. You see, the thing with doership is not just the false sense that I'm the doer of something. It has terrible cousins, this doership. You see, pride, guilt, shame, remorse, regret, all these are cousins of doership. Terrible stuff, terrible baggage to just hold on to. In the seeing that there never was an individual doer or an individual experiencer of anything, brings a great lightness. You see? Most of our suffering is because of doership. And many times, actually, guilt is even more tricky, because guilt is the not only ability to take blame for that which seemed like were my action, but guilt also takes many times the actions of others. We find ourselves guilty about something that somebody else has done. You see? So guilt can be very, very tricky, deeply linked to doership, but not just, you see, not just the doership which seems to happen through this body. So to see that there is no doer is really, really helpful. And shame also is not just, we can't say just purely linked shame about image. Identification is there, then it can be about like, what are people perceiving me to be like? What is the image that I'm conveying for myself? The image is not what it should be, then some shame can come about that. It's to do with identity, doership, self-image. And in Satsang we are shining a strong light, your own light, onto all of these things. And sometimes it can feel like too much is coming up, too much is coming up. But it's good, because if the garbage is coming up to get released, then we must allow it. In fact, that's why I've always said that don't say it is coming, say it is going. Don't say shame is coming, say shame is going. Because unless it is released like this, it will not go in a way. If the urge is to play as a person more and more, then we can say that these things are coming, because they form the foundations of this belief system called the person. If the urge is for freedom, when these things show up, they're letting go of these things. They're being emptied out from our bag. You see, we've been carrying all this stinky stuff in our bag, and now it's being emptied out. And we feel like, oh, this is back again. It's not back, it's being removed actually. It is being released. Thank you, my dear. Okay, Maria, you can say.
Thank you, Father. Some things are coming here, like at first, today I am very tired. Last days I am very, very tired. But I was trying to, I became stuck. But I'm trying to be aware.
Yeah.
I was really trying to be aware.
Yeah.
And a certain point, I was feeling like just this apathy.
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 Yeah.
But at a certain point it came, why sometimes it's coming that new space that is so beautiful, and that is the most beautiful. It appears like the most beautiful thing that happened in my life. Is so many work to find this space. It's a way of talk, okay? Things happen, and why it's so easy to lose it and to go to mine. And it was coming like, my gosh, still so much attachment for playing the world. How it is possible to have so many difficult a life with so much suffering and be interested. Because I thought this second time I came in India, I came just for satsang. Now I know that there are nothing near Father for me, for me, just for, and suddenly I was shocked. Oh, so many expectations.
Something very important you said, maybe everybody didn't understand. She says that
nobody
it is now I'm coming to the understanding that in satsang there is nothing here for me. You see, this is very important to, I mean, there is nothing here personally for anyone. Satsang is for the recognition of the self. It is for freedom from this idea of the person. And there comes this point in satsang where we come to the recognition that actually here there is nothing for me, for this individual me. You see? And if the urge is to be rid of this idea of me, then satsang continues. But for those who feel like, no, I still want to play as a me, then they realize that there is no point now coming to satsang, because all that is being cleaned up is attached to the identity of the me. So you say, I'm seeing that there is nothing here for me.
No, not exactly.
Yeah.
I came this time in India with that idea.
Yes.
Now I know that is for truth.
Yes.
Now I know.
Exactly.
And after about near a month here, I'm realizing that also identity wants to play the world. And it's a shock because my life was not interesting, was too much suffering. It's so much beautiful, what comes in satsang. So there was a shock. Why? I was trying to perceive why the interest in the world. And also this desire of die physically that is like still here playing, but it's a big attachment, like the desire of continue in another lifetime. So it's not this thing of suicide and of go to another lifetime. It's also an attachment to the play and not a desire for freedom. And also was coming like there are thoughts and beliefs and there are identity. And this thing that came last days with like my family, like family coming again, and they like the fear, like in the past, these are like ideas. It seems not identity itself, but like ideas, and they may also suck me and become between me and freedom, and became so obvious. Just this identity, this mind, to buy some food is always about the identity that is using mind. And why mind goes with this identity? Because also mind can be used somehow like awareness. So why, if it brings me so much suffering, I was so sick these last days, perhaps it's part of satsang, this understanding, because this was not conscient. It's like a very old habit of trying to find attention from outside.
So
because I came like to be more alone in my satsang, and I'm always trying to attach also for someone that is not that, for people that I'm not talking for so much time in my country, also here. And sometimes I could go to some temple. It's not about, sometimes it's okay to be in Sangha, but it's like not with attach, not in an attached way. Also yesterday I was not feeling, and I know you know, I was feeling so sick to go to Sunday. I don't feel to go. In this moment now, it's a very beautiful thing, but in this moment I don't feel I'm able to cook and to be a good, and to have a beautiful cooperation with others. and it came like the shame and the guilt about do nothing. And it's so stupid, because I'm here in this moment. It's the most important thing. So it's that conscience that I feel it's important, and in fact it comes when I look. And because this I don't know if it is real, this desire of play, or if it is identity by itself that manipulating. This mind is not so interested.
Yeah.
But also there are the habits, and it goes with this thing that is pushing it.
So the desire for play, identity itself. You see?
Oh, okay.
Yeah? So the identity is not distinct from the desire for play. The identity is because of it is the representation of the desire to play. Yeah? So as the identity is getting
And the thoughts come
dissolved, then you find that this is also the dissolution of the desire to play as a person. You see? The appearance of the play will continue, but it will no longer be a personal play. It will be a universal play.
because it seems so subtle, it seems so real. Sometimes it seems outside, and something is aware that nothing. It's always this identity playing.
Yes, the play itself is the identity. You see, when we play a computer game,
Yes.
then to play it really well or to play it with vigor, you have to pretend as if you are the James Bond or whoever. That is the identity. That is the play. Very good. Very beautiful. Very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I don't know what I want to say, Father. I just had to come up.
John? Okay.
Can I come there?
Yeah.
I can't really put this in words, but there is a sense of separation that feels in the body, mostly like the upper, like the face.
Like a sense of separation in the face, okay.
And there's a sense that this is burning, or I don't know I don't know how to put this in words, and I don't know if it makes sense.
This is burning or dissolving again.
This is dissolving, like there's a sense that it should dissolve, or it is dissolving. I don't know even making sense, but and there's joy in it, but the sense that it should not be here is causing some.
So, whatever the big sensation might be, you see, without anything at all, what is the separation it is causing?
It really doesn't cause a separation, but it feels like I am there, like, because it was.
You are contained in the
Yeah, this relates to your asking if you feel like you're sitting on the couch. You are sitting on the couch, or you are in this body, and it feels like I am. So I've been trying to look in this body, like if I am in this body, like because the sense of separation feels like it's in the body.
Okay. The sense I am, at least the root of it, the center also feels like it is within the body.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So one heart for you, you've said it's a face. Okay. Now this sense, what are the boundaries of it?
Of I am?
Of this sense, which is in the face. It was the body. I see that the sensations at the outer limits of our body. So is this sense contained within these sensory boundaries, or it is these sensory boundaries which are contained within this sense? Is the sense of the body? You see, we say that this is within the body, that means within this boundary, isn't it?
Yeah.
But actually, is the boundary within this sense, or is the sense within this boundary?
Sorry, that's not making sense.
What do we mean when we say something is contained within the body?
It's just a sense. It's just a feeling.
Yeah, because we're not saying that actually if you cut open my body, you will find this I am, or you will find.
It's like an energetic sense, like.
So what tells us that it is within the body?
The sensations are in the body.
It feels like the sensations are contained within the body, but how is the body experienced? That is also experienced as sensations, isn't it? So now there are two sets of sensations. One is the sense of I am or separation, whatever you're talking about, and
So
there are also the sensations of the body.
I am doesn't feel like the sense of separation. The energetic sensations in the body.
So there are three then. There is a sense of I am, there is a sense of the body, and vision. Are there three sensations?
No.
Then
So the sense of I am is here, but it's not always obvious for me. It's
I
here.
am is here. How is it here? You mean what? As what?
It's just me. I mean, it is me and seen in me. But I'm going to try to put it.
Yeah.
I can't. I really can't be articulate about this, but it's.
The sense that I exist. How is that experienced? Would you say it is within the body, outside the body? Where is it?
It's not within the body.
It's not within the body. The sense or the sensations of the body are within it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the body is within it. So
Body isn't like in front of it. It feels like that.
Achha.
I can't even say that. I don't know what. Like I can't. I'm not able to say what.
So it can feel like there's a sense of the body, that there's this sense of a separation which is experienced, and it feels like that is me. That is what you said, no?
Yeah, the energetic sensations. And sometimes the attention is on that, and then that's when it feels like there's a separation. And then sometimes it's just seeing, and it feels like it's dropped by itself. It's not like it's a thought or anything. It's just energy.
Okay. And you also say that this is dissolving.
It's dissolving.
Okay.
I just had to put it like.
Good. Very good.
But there's a sense that it should be going away. So I don't know what it is. It's
so
just.
Just that same advice. Don't make any conclusions or interpretations about this.
Yeah. Because I am the contemplations, like sometimes it just doesn't. I can't contemplate whether I'm in the body, your body is in I am, or what. Like it's just.
It's okay. Only for those who enjoy that kind of contemplation.
If it comes very natural. I can't like do it rather. And like even like.
So don't feel like you have to. In any energetic sense or anything. Don't say that must be the conclusion or something like that.
Yeah, it's just joyful and it's just seen and it just goes like it. But like I don't know, just everything at your feet. I can't like say anything like, or like even any sense of doership with even this, like because when it's there, then I can see like this. The sensation itself trying to get rid of this. I don't know why. Like I don't know what I'm saying.
Actually, the more we speak about it, the more it seems to feed on all of this.
Yeah, but I just had to put it here. It's something. It's just like.
It's very good. Unless this sense of personhood is fed with our belief in some conclusion, interpretation, belief, you see, it will not gain any momentum. It has to dissolve. But you don't have to do anything about it.
Yeah, there can be a sense of something there. Like, you know.
Even to say that this must go fast,
Yeah.
it's just feeding a concept.
I have no idea. Like, seriously, like.
These examples are the most useful. Just whatever might be coming on the conveyor belt, just don't pick it up, allow it to go. And if you pick something up, all you have to do is you see? Because earlier I used to say, and I remember Shivani also made a visual about that. I used to say, don't pick up the pen. And if you picked it up, drop it. But actually I see that you don't even have to drop it. The moment drops it. In this moment, everything that has been picked up in the past is already gone. So something will appeal to us to pick it up again. All we have to do is not pick it up. time checker has gone to sleep. 3 hours now? Okay, let's have a song. What are we singing? What do we feel like singing? Sing those two, no? My favorite Krishna one.
So was that Murli Manohara, is it? Okay. Murali Manohara Gopala Ananda Nandana Gopala Murali Manohara Gopala Anandana Gopala Murali Manohara Gopala Ananda Nandana Gopala Meera ke Madhava Gopala Radha Hridayeshwar Gopala Meera ke Madhava Gopala Radha Hridayeshwara Gopala Nanda Sunandana Gopala Anandana Gopala Murali Manohara Gopala Ananda Nandana Gopala He Mayadhishwara Gopala He Vaikunteshwara Gopala He Mayadhishwara Gopala He Vaikunteshwara Gopala Gopi Janaranjana Gopala Ananda Nandana Gopala Murali Manohara Gopala Ananda Nandana Gopala Murali Manohara Gopala Ananda Nandana Gopala Govinda Krishna Hari Om Gopal Krishna Hari Om Govinda Krishna Hari Om Gopal Krishna Hari Om Govinda Krishna Hari Om Gopal Krishna Hari Om Govinda Krishna Hari Om
Gopal Krishna Hari Om. Devaki Nandana Madhava, Devaki Nandana Keshava Madhava, Narayanaya Hari Om. Govinda Krishna Hari Om. Gopal Krishna Hari Om. Govinda Krishna Hari Om. Gopal Krishna Hari Om. Devaki Nandana Keshava Madhava, Devaki Nandana Keshava Madhava, Narayanaya Govinda Krishna Hari Om. Gopal Krishna Hari Om. Govinda Krishna Om. Gopal Krishna Hari Om. Govinda Krishna Hari Om. Gopal Krishna Hari Om. Govinda Krishna Hari Om. Gopal Krishna Hari Om. Mohana, Mohana Muralidhara, Mohana Muralidhara, Mohana Muralidhara, Mohana Muralidhara, Mohana Muralidhara, Mohana Muralidhara. Krishna, Govinda Krishna, Krishna, Govinda Krishna, Mano Mohana, Mohana Krishna, Muralidhara, Mohana Muralidhara, Krishna Muralidhara, Mohana Muralidhara. Krishna Govinda Krishna Krishna Govinda Krishna Manohara Krishna Muralidhara Mohana Muralidhara Krishna Muralidhara Mohana Muralidhara Krishna Govinda Krishna Krishna Govinda Krishna Manohana Krishna Muralidhara Mohana Muralidhara Krishna Muralidhara Mohana Muralidhara Krishna Muralidhara Mohana Muralidhara Krishna Muralidhara Mohana Muralidhara.
you all so very much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Sri Murti Ki Jai.
Sadhguru Sri Murti Ki Jai.